Well, in a big win for regional communities out of Queensland earlier today, Adani Mining has announced the signing of over $700 million worth of contracts so far in the construction of Adani's Carmichael mine and rail project. It's great news for jobs and small business, medium-sized businesses in some of our hardest going regions. Joining me now to discuss this all further, Adani Mining's CEO Lucas Dow. Lucas, this is just terrific news. I wanted to follow up this story from where we were in the middle of the campaign, and Adani was such a feature of the campaign. The company made a lot of commitments to regional Australia, and you're delivering on them.
Good evening, Peter. Yes, obviously we've been getting on with the job of delivering our Carmichael project since we broke ground back in May of last year. So we're obviously very excited, and today's announcement that we've now signed over $700 million worth of contracts for the construction of mine and rails, a real shot in the arm for North and Central Queensland, and they're areas that have been doing it tough in recent years. So obviously we're very excited, and we're looking forward to being able to continue to deliver on our project.
Yeah, and it's not only the communities of, Townsville, Rockhampton, in and around that seaboard all the way up to the mine, and obviously inland, but also drought-affected towns. It gives hope for kids and older people in drought-affected areas and regional parts of Queensland that they can move, they can take a punt, and they can go into these larger centres, not have to go to Brisbane, and likely get some work. A lot of these contracts, as I'm going through the detail, are going to local businesses. You know, these are not big multinationals winning the money. Tell us a little bit more about what's on offer.
Yeah, so Peter, you're absolutely right. We've got a real commitment to regional Queensland, and in particular Queensland and Australian companies. So we've got our rail company, Martinez, will be laying the track for us. We've got our earthworks contractors based out of Rockhampton and Townsville. Our mining services contractor will also be basing themselves out of Rockhampton. And these are all Queensland-based companies, often family companies. Clearly Wagner's is making a contribution to our project as well through its quarrying activities and so on. So we're seeing a whole range of activities, and those efforts are also flowing into things like the assembly of our first 600-tonne class excavator on site. Our trucks are also being assembled in Mackay. So these benefits are being spread far and wide across regional Queensland, and it is helping to bolster the regional economy here in Queensland.
Yeah, so you're talking about roads, accommodation villages, you're talking about environment management systems. I also saw a bit of documentation there about dams. No government body can build a dam in Australia, but you give a private company the licence to go ahead and build a mine, and suddenly you're building dams. I wish you could do that elsewhere around the place. Yeah, well, please.
That's right. Well, a number of those dams, Peter, are associated with our environmental management plans and our water management activities and so forth. But you're absolutely right. We're certainly getting on with the job, and despite a number of these activists endeavouring to, by and large, try to throw the kitchen sink at us, we're getting on with the job, and we look forward to completing the project and seeing coal out in 2021.
I spoke to some people in Rockhampton in particular, and it's not just those who are directly involved in either a mining job up there or a mining contract. It's the motel, it's the cleaners, it's the local fish and chip shop, it's all the other associated business, news agent, everyone who gets a real boost in town when money comes in and new clients come in. And this, I think, is what the activists miss. They like to sort of drive up north from Tasmania and Victoria and lecture, but country people up there or regional people didn't buy it. And this is now, I think, an example, let's hope a demonstration of people power when country towns, regional areas are desperate for jobs, that they'll stare down or vote down people that want to get it in the way of them having a chance of prosperity.
Peter, you're absolutely right. I mean, ultimately what people in regional Queensland, they just want to have a crack, and they want to be able to have an opportunity to be able to put food on the table, have well-paying jobs and a future for their kids, and essentially our project is helping to be able to provide that stimulus and those opportunities in the economy. And whilst we respect that everyone may have a different opinion around our project, the reality is that we've got all our approvals in place. We're getting on with the project. We're not going to be deterred. And by and large, whilst protesters might want to voice their opinion, the moment they step over the line and they start undertaking illegal activities like trespass and so forth, it's just unreasonable that they're getting in the way of hard-working regional Queenslanders.
Yeah, well, I hope Sky will unplug me from this desk and let me come up and have a look in a few months' time. But give me a sense of where you want to get to, Lucas, by the end of the year.
So, Peter, we've already got our camp on site. We've got 250 people. It's bursting at the seams. We've got another 3 rail camps going in for the construction of the rail. That'll put another 1,200 beds on the ground. So we're well on track to deliver on our 1,500 direct jobs during the construction and ramp-up period. That'll flow on, and you already described it, to another 6,750 indirect jobs. And they are the motel owners, the fish and chip, the taxi drivers, the logistics providers and so forth. So in short, what you'll see now over the coming months is activity ramping up on the site, increased activity on the mine site. As I said, our first excavators already walked off the pad. Our trucks will be delivered soon, so that'll be the mine well and truly away. And the rail construction activity is already underway with clearing, grubbing and fencing, and earthworks will start during the course of March and April. So, come the end of the year, we'll be looking forward to exporting coal during the course of 2021.
And of course, we all know the end result of that coal. And I went to India. I went to India with Adani. I'll underscore that point. But I went to India and I saw some of the poorest of the world's poor. And of course, this coal is their chance to have the life. I think that some of the activists would deny them. And this is what we can't forget in all of this. It's bringing a fifth of India's population who don't have electricity into the 21st century.
That's absolutely right, Peter. So all of our coal's destined for export and into India. Importantly, it's not just a case for us of coal or renewables. We've also got a very large renewables portfolio. In fact,
that's right.
On a solar basis, we're the 6th largest solar power provider in the world. So for us, it's not a question of it's coal or renewables. It's going to be a mixture. It's going to be coal and renewables. But as you rightly pointed out, developing economies, just like the Australian economy, requires safe, reliable, affordable baseload power. And that's effectively what our coal's destined for. And also importantly, our coal, if you compare it with traditional sources such as domestic Indian coal or coal sourced from Indonesia, our coal is less emitting from a CO2 perspective and also from other impurities. So by and large, this is not only an environmentally responsible thing to do in terms of being able to provide the best quality coal, but as you also pointed out, it's also providing the mechanism to allow the Indian government and the Indian population to be able to advance and develop their economy.
I tell you what, Lucas Dow, Twitter will be an absolute meltdown. Not only are you giving good news for the people of Adani's new footprint up there in Northern Australia, you're helping people in India, you economically and environmentally a bit of good there with the quality of Australian coal. You're beating them with common sense and a few facts. They won't like that at all. Lucas Dow, all the best for the next few busy months ahead. Thanks for joining us tonight. And a terrific announcement, $750 million in Australian contracts, particularly regional Queensland. Thanks for your time tonight.
Thanks, Peter. Good evening.